Welcome back. So now we're going to discuss porn in the media. So how do you think porn on TV, well, duh, it's not on TV. So how does porn on TV affect relationships? What do you think?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I mean, like, in a lot of stuff, so one of the stations that I know that I watch all the time is the CW, because I'm kind of like a child. So I like watching the CW. But, because, they have The Flash, they have Arrow, they have all these shows.
What?
Yes, but on a lot of those shows, they have a lot of, like, sex scenes and everything else, like Black Lightning. No, these are all shows, but they all have, like...
I didn't know they had... On CW?
Yes, on the CW. They have sex scenes on those shows.
Oh,
and they're not, like, some of them are, like, a little bit more risky than others.
They're not, like, power sex scenes.
No, they're not like that. Like, that's obviously, like, on a more...
Oh, shit. Today's
like,
Sunday?
Paid...
Oh, we gotta watch Power. Okay, good.
I don't watch
I ain't
Power.
watching it.
No, I ain't watching it.
Yes, exactly. The CW is great. But for someone like my child who watches The Flash and Arrow and all that, and they have these sex scenes and these intense kissing scenes, and then you find her later and she's like kissing her teddy bear, and you're like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm doing what I saw, and you're like, oh. So like lots of times too, like those are shows that she loves. She loves superhero stuff, so she can't even watch the shows that she wants to watch or the shows that you think are appropriate because you're like, oh damn, like.
Well, are they rated?
I don't know. We just watch the CW.
I can, I have to give them their due justice. They do rate the show.
That's true.
What do you think? Porn affects relationships?
Like relationships with the kids or relationships with
I would say
my
intimate,
wife or married, right?
Intimate relationships.
Does it affect? I mean, I think it does, but I think it's either good or bad.
Give me the bad first.
Because, what if necessarily, let's just use it, he and a she, and let's just say that he sees something that she may not be really ready for, like whips and chains. Like, to me, 50 Shades of Grey, it was pretty much
horrible.
Was an open-ended porn. Like, pretty much, that's what it was. That's all it was for me. It was a porn that everybody liked. But... And then so you got to 3. 3, they had action. I was like, yes, finally. Because the other 2 would suck. But, like, honestly, like, she made it. So, okay, now I don't watch 50 Shades of Grey. You took me to go watch it for the love aspect of it. But I done pulled away with, okay, so whips and chains and bells and things.
I think that 50 Shades of Grey was written for women. It was like an erotica, and women were going to watch it because, and like a lot of women, what I took from it, a lot of conversations was that a lot of women secretly wanted these things in the bedroom, because you got to think, the people, I mean, it wasn't really a targeted thing for necessarily black people, but a lot of these middle-aged white women that are married, they want spice in their life, and that's why they were watching it. They were watching it because they were like, I wish somebody would have a sex
but
room.
What she asked was, how could it be bad?
How could it affect you? Yeah.
So I would think, like, if Marianne's not ready for whips and chains, you know what I mean? But Pete, like, hey, you know what I mean? I got this from, the sex shop up the street. You know what I mean? How do you tell your partner, like, hey, that's not, you know what I mean? I like missionary. That's all I really like. You know what I mean? Like, I know somebody now that they have struggles with outside of just the traditional sex realm. You know what I mean? So I can see that where it could be bad, and then where I can see it could be good. Like, okay, yeah, if y'all been in a relationship for 10 years and y'all do the same thing, and you don't necessarily know how to tell your partner, like, hey, Pete, I mean, we do the same 6 positions. like, you know what I mean? Like, I need something different. You know what I mean? And now you can kind of, because I think men are really, it's an ego that's involved in it. So they like, like if you say, hey, like, bruh, like, you suck. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's where it can be good, because I think, like, at that time you can help kind of like teach him a new trick or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but porn is not really realistic. Like, I'm not going to watch porn with my partner and be like, let's look at what they're doing so that way we can get notes, because those are actors, and a lot of that stuff is like...
Oh, it's not real?
So,
that's... I mean, like, because even, like, I mean, the guys, don't they take... I mean, I'm assuming that they're probably going to take some type of pill. There's going to be some type of penis pumps, because some of those videos are long, and then some of those women like the squirting fantasies and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes I wonder, like, for the women that actually do squirt versus women that don't, like, is that truly squirt at that point, or is she just peeing and they're just calling it that because they need it for the footage?
Well, I did watch. If you watch Netflix, where they be like behind the porn, oh, it'd be listen.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So why
it'd be-
watch
I'm
porn
like,
and be like,
whoa.
you can get some pointers? You gonna hurt
But
yourself.
you're
What
looking
you gonna
for. I
do?
think you're looking for more of the aspect, like, okay, like maybe the whips, the chains, the dressing up. You know, I'm the dirty construction worker. You know, and you're the stay-at-home wife that, you know, blah blah blah. Like I still think role playing is needed. Like I still think, like, hell, I think that's like when it comes to our relationship, like, I think different personalities need to be involved, because sometimes, you know what, sometimes I may not need, you know, my wife. Sometimes I might need somebody else. You know what I mean? And you just have to be open to play a different role. And so you got to figure it out. Da, 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 da. So sometimes that's how it kind of works. That's how I think it kind of works.
So I think it's interesting that you mentioned CW with Flash and others, and then you mentioned 50 Shades of Grey. But when I think about porn, I think about porn going on the internet, typing in porn, and all these porn sites come up. But 50 Shades of Grey was like the most talked about sex film. I don't know. I didn't like it. I wasn't impressed. But I do think people do need to be mindful of what they try to go home and take into their bedroom, because that was actually a poor representation of kink, but it was kink nonetheless. And so when you're talking about kink, so let's say I'm heterosexual, and so I can only speak from the heterosexual perspective. So when you're with your partner and you all are used to doing missionary, doggy style, you know, very basic positions, and then you want to spice it up, that's fine, but do some research about it. When you are having sex and you're having an orgasm, let's say you step it up, you spice it up, and you decide to do something as simple as tying your leg to the bed rail, one leg to the bed rail. That orgasm can be higher than what you're used to. And then when you get to a certain high, of course, when you're high, you're going to come down, you're going to come crashing down. So when you come crashing down, that can look different for different people. Some people may feel suicidal. Some people may feel regret doing what they did. Some people may resent their partner. They may withdraw from their partner. And then you're stuck. What happened? And there may be a fog. You both can feel that way, or maybe one. So imagine a person who felt like, oh my God, that was great, let's do it again. And then the other person that's having this withdrawn feeling from you. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what to do. I know in the Black community, we're just now getting hip to mental health and seeking therapists. So that's where your sex therapist will come into place to figure out, okay, what's going on. But you will have to acknowledge there's a difference. A dynamic has shifted. And you will basically seek a therapist. They'll probably refer you to a sex therapist. And then they'll ask you all these different things. Did you do this? Did you do that? And then once they can pinpoint you experience with kink, then they can educate you about aftercare, which can be something that should happen, I believe, within 24 hours after whatever act you all has taken place. Aftercare can be soft fabric against the skin, cuddling, drinking something sweet or eating something sweet, talking about it. You know, you're really just taking care of that person and how they came crashing down. And so it looks different.
Is that just like any experience outside of what the normal that you would do? So like if you were to have an experience, like say that, you know, your partner is like, I want to introduce someone into the bedroom. Maybe they want to introduce another male. Maybe they want to introduce another female. Is that considered kink, or is that still kind of like that area where it's like plenty of people have threesomes, plenty of people do that? Or is that, because that's out of my norm, is that something that I'm like, maybe I need to seek aftercare afterwards? I might not like that.
Yeah, I think for best practice, you should. If it's something new that you're doing in the bedroom, you should check in. Just check in. How was it for you? What happened? You know, I'm a big believer in communication, especially with your partner when you're having, you know, when you're being intimate or having sex rather. Check in to see whatever new thing that you all did. Did you like it? Did you not? For me, I'm a believer over food. Have it over something you both enjoy so it won't be an awkward or tense conversation, and evaluate what happened and be honest. Like, hey, I didn't like this, but I really love that. We don't have to do this again. Maybe next time let's try it this way. I think when anytime it's something new in the bedroom, check in with your partner to make sure you're okay. So that's the bad thing for me about porn and relationships. But then the good thing, like you said, it gives you new ideas. Now back to my porn, not y'all porn, but back to my porn. I think another bad thing for me, you look so stupid. Have you ever, well, maybe not you, but have you ever, you see the girl and she's spinning around with the dick still inside, like Trina said in her song? It looks so flawless. It looks so perfect. But when you do it in real life, it looks so stupid.
Oh, it does.
And you're like, it's not even sexy.
It looks stupid to you. But for me, I'm like, oh,
I feel so stupid. Like, what am I? Like, this is not how I look.
Spin again.
This is not how I look on TV. But like you said, porn is cut and paste. Yeah. They do those scenes over and over and over.
They do. And I mean, and like I said, they're actors, they're models. Like, that's what their body is made to do that. It's like an actor that's just in Hollywood. Their body that's their craft. So you have all of these porn stars that are like, this is what that's what they take care of their body to be able to do these things. And then, when you have a partner that's like, I want to make a video, and you're like, okay, and then you make a video, and when you go back and watch it, I'm like, why my leg is like that? Yeah. Oh my God, you didn't tell me I had back fat. Yeah. Like, looking at all this stuff, and you're like, that's what the face I made.
But I think that's more women. Like, women are like so hypercritical. Like, you're analyzing everything.
Yeah, we are.
Meanwhile, we like, hey, I got, you know what I mean? Like,
okay,
then we're
but
trying
when you
to
go back and watch it, you're not analyzing yourself. You're like, dang, man, my stroke game weak. Like,
no, because it's we're the one performing the act. So listen.
Hold on, wait, because we perform too now.
As well.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, like, for me, like, no, like, if that's something, what I care about? Hey, are we deleting this a lot? You know what I'm saying? Because I need to make sure it don't go to the cloud. Because, you know what I'm saying? I got friends and family. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? That's all I care about. Like, other than that, listen, I'm not looking at, but they said that, though. They said that, I think, when I was reading the study, that women overanalyze the whole process.
We do.
Like, I don't know why how she's doing this. Meanwhile, I
think about all that. Like, if I notice like one hair that I've missed on my leg when shaving, I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna find that one hair that I missed, and he's gonna rubbing on my leg. Oh my God, he's gonna find that one hair. Like, I'm thinking about everything.
Yeah. I could never have a mirror on my ceiling. Like, I'd be so distracted. Like, this.
Like, because then once you start enjoying it, and then like you open your eyes, you look at the mirror, like, dang, I want to see myself. Or like the dudes that have like the.
We got a ceiling fan, but if I can take that ceiling fan out and put the mirror, hey, listen.
People that have the mirrors on their closet door, and then you turn and look at the closet, you're like, dang, I can never do it. Yeah. Turn off the lights.
Turn off the lights?
Well, I can do it with the light on, but I don't want to see me. Like, if I see me looking stupid, I'm like, oh my God, I look so stupid. This is how I look to him. I don't want to do it no more.
So let me ask you this. So let's.
Sex is over.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. So I know we were talking about what it is, as far as like the good and the bad. But okay, so with porn, like, I know we were talking about it before. Like, how do we have that conversation with our kids? Because, your kids are going to find out about porn, and then, like, I come in the room and little Bobby going to town. You know what I mean? So, like,
it's so accessible on their phones.
It's not real.
Yeah. So
I think I'm all about honesty. Just tell them it's not real, or let them lead the conversation. Why do you enjoy watching porn? And this is going to be awkward. So again, over food, over something they enjoy. This is going to be awkward, especially if you discovered they watching porn on accident, which most likely that's how it is. It's going to be like, oh, shame. So like, okay, open up. I like watching porn too, but what do you like watching? Why do you like watching porn? What is it so interesting to you to watch? And then they're going to say whatever they're going to say. And then, just let them guide the conversation. And then, okay, what is attracting you to porn? Well, are you interested in sex now? Have you started having sex? Have you imitated what you saw? And as you're talking, let them know, okay, well, this is not real. So don't be discouraged. You know, sex don't last that long. It's not 3 hours long, you know. So if you don't last 3 hours, don't be, you know, your feelings, you know, and, you know, just
Listen, if you last 3 hours and you ain't got no pills, son, I'm gonna need you to go get checked.
Yeah.
Today.
Nah, I take you.
Let's straight up. What's the little the emergency care? He need to be seen right now. Well, why he need to be seen? I'll tell you when we get back there.
But back to you with the squirting thing, and this was a good tie-in with the kids. A lot of women connect squirting with an orgasm, and they feel like because they did not squirt, they did not orgasm. And an orgasm, that's not, yes, that's your orgasm, but if you do not squirt, that does not mean you did not have an orgasm.
It doesn't always happen all the time either.
Well, that's not even, that's not even a thing.
It
does happen all the time, but you just have to know what is an orgasm.
So,
an orgasm is only about 3 seconds long. It's not this grand gesture. So here's the difference with the men. You know when the man's going to orgasm, right? Because it's like they're ejaculating. You know, this fluid, this sperm
that grunt.
Yeah, this sperm that has built up is ready to exit, right? So for a man, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure it feels like you have to pee really bad. You finally peed. That's how it feels.
No,
really good.
No.
Or what does it feel like? I feel like you just release something.
You know, you ever felt like when the when the stars explode and the supernova? That's kind of what.
Awesome. So,
but it don't never feel like you got to. I don't know how to describe it.
It doesn't feel like you're peeing.
No, it definitely doesn't feel like you're peeing. You know pee.
Oh wow.
Like, you know pee. It never feels like it's hard to explain. You know, but I feel like it's some supernovas. Like, you know, however the universe started, that's how I feel.
Okay, cool. I'll take that. So, but for women, you know, when we can orgasm back to back to back to back to back.
Yes, we can.
It lasts about 3 seconds long. It's something as simple as your heart rate increasing. That's an orgasm. Involuntary muscle contractions is an orgasm. Okay. Fluid is going to.
You're not talking about cramp, though, right?
No, not a cramp. Not a cramp.
Okay, cool.
Fluid is going to exit out of the vagina because technically we can't ejaculate. That's what, you know, the anatomy term of it. We do not do that, but our fluid comes out, you know, when we're sexually aroused, we have fluid that comes out of our vagina. Involuntary muscles, contractions, increased heart rate, lasts about 3 seconds long. That's basically the sum of an orgasm. That's our orgasm. It's not just squirting. All women do not squirt. And yes, there is some research. Some people on the research side says it is urine. There is a theory that when you're having this orgasm, because this is not an all-day experience, your organs get a slight confusion and the fluid comes out of your bladder, out of your urethra. So the only thing that comes out of your urethra is urine, right? So then you have other side of research that says that's not urine because they have done these bladder scans and the bladder was empty. However, if you're squirting fluid, where is it coming from? Your urethra. The only thing that's coming out of your urethra is urine. So those, like you have in your vagina, in your vagina, you have these glands called the scheme glands. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. The scheme glands that produces that white or clear sticky fluid when you're sexually aroused. Those glands are not that big to create such a grand gesture such as squirting. So I'm on the side of research that is definitely urine mixed with the fluid that has been created from your scheme gland.
But so if you watch the thing on Netflix, the women actually take. Now this is crazy. They take a syringe, like a turkey baster, and they put it up there.
But that doesn't even come out of the same hole as what they're saying that squirt is coming out of.
That's they put it up. They're like when you watch. I think it's called My Life After Porn or something like that.
I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Yeah,
it's on Netflix.
Yeah, and that was it. That's like one of the tricks that they do. So then you like people are thinking, oh, no, they've inserted it to push it out. So you over here trying to squirt, but you don't realize that's a mixture of salty water and whoever, I don't know what it. I can't remember what it was. You know what I mean? But it's all fake. You know what I mean?
It's fake.
So but. I mean, in the end, it's like as long as you're comfortable with your partner and y'all have talked about it and figured it out, I think you know, I didn't know about aftercare, but I knew about, I guess it's called before care, where you guys at least talk about it. Like,
negotiations.
Yeah,
it's called negotiations.
Yeah, don't just jump into it. Like, hey, girl, when you get home, I'm gonna tie you up, and I'm gonna tie you to the bed, and then I'm coming out with some chains and with the little thingy with the strap. Somebody told me what it was.
A gag.
Yeah, like see, next thing you know, I come home from work, and you just standing there, and I'm like, oh. What? Like, what is going on? You know what I mean? So I think you have to have a conversation before and after.
Yeah.
I never thought about the after because I'm like, after we talked about it before, so we should be good. Like, but I never thought about it. Yeah.
But then that makes so much sense though, because after you've done something that's out of your norm within your, like, whether you're in a relationship, well, I would say within a relationship, because that's happened to me before, where I'm like, I've done something, and then afterward, it's like you feel bad that you did it because it's not something you would normally do, and then you think about all of the stigmatisms that are behind it. So then you're like, wow, like, now I feel bad that I did this. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. What are people going to think of me? And it's like, well, people shouldn't know that your business anyway. They shouldn't be involved in your relationship.
Yeah.
Exactly. But all of that goes through, and then now you're like, I'm never going to do that again. I never want to do that again because it wasn't a good experience. Like, it was a good experience, but I feel like that was just morally wrong. So I shouldn't do that.
I want to backtrack really quick because I did mention that all women do orgasm. I want to take that statement back. Some women will not have that experience.
Wow.
But a lot of times women do orgasm. They just don't know because they are waiting for this grand gesture. Mm-hmm. And you don't have a grand gesture. You just don't. It's 3 seconds long and enjoy it. And then get out your head. Mm-hmm. Women being, because I think with the squirting thing, I encounter so many women that associate squirting with an orgasm. So the entire time they're in their head about sex, they really can't be present and enjoy it because they're waiting for this grand gesture. Like, oh my God, is this it? Is this it? Or you ever been having sex and it's real good and you feel like you gotta pee and you're like, oh my God, this is the moment. I'm about to squirt. It's taking out. Then you didn't do it. Then you're like, oh, I almost had my orgasm. That was it. That was it. You know, it's like because you feel like it didn't go all the way through or that.
You don't have that, like, release afterwards.
Yeah, like you didn't do it. Like, you're like, I've heard women say, I almost had an orgasm. Like, either you did or you didn't. Like, it's just, there's no in between. Is there or is it not there? So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, but some women.
But I think normally that's like the media and then what your homegirls say.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So speaking about media, so I know, like, there's this big to-do now about male birth control. Mm-hmm. Like. So, you know, you're like, oh, well, men should take pills and, you know, relieve women, you know, and then there's always both sides of it. There's, you know, the men should get a vasectomy or the woman should get...
a tubal ligation.
Thank you, because I don't know the special word for it.
You were going to call it a hysterectomy.
Is that not it?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought that was it.
When you get your tubes tied.
So what's a hysterectomy?
When the whole uterus gets surgically removed.
So why you not doing?
Well, when the whole uterus gets like for like cancer reasons and that kind of stuff, right?
Or they just wanted the menopause, they want it gone. You know, but
I thought you just exited, take that thing on out.
No.
Either way, now that I know it's a
I can't say it. Tubal ligation.
Okay, so what do y'all think? Do you think it's something where, you know,
whoever don't want the baby, get fixed? Don't force your wants on your partner. Mm-hmm. Talk about it. But then the male, it's easier. Y'all's is reverse. Do y'all remember? I forgot the name of the reality show, but Neo's fiance was on there, and they just had twins, and he did not want any more children. Mm-hmm. He told her to get her tubes tied. A lot of times for women, that is not reversed. Like 9 out of 10, that's a wrap. She got her tubes tied. They did not make it. Neo moved on. Neo now has other children with his now new wife. Mm-hmm. She, the ex-fiance, cannot have any more kids. She only have the twins from Neo, and she was so upset about that. Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, the least you could have done was not have children with her, because it's unfair to me that I cannot have kids permanently anymore because you told me you did not want any more kids. Mm-hmm. And now look at you in a new relationship and you have new children. I'm in a new relationship, but I'm just stuck with your kids. Well, that sounded horrible. But I can't have any more kids with my new husband, you know. I mean, personally, she shouldn't have done that anyway. That wasn't her husband. Yeah. But I think if you don't want kids and you're strong about that, then whoever's strong about it, you get fixed.
But what about what about the reality of like birth control in women? Because I know some people are there. I mean, there's so many options across the board for birth control, And a lot of people are like the negative side effects that some people experience with birth control. They're just like, oh, I was on this, it didn't work. And then we have so many things, men can be really cutthroat at times where they're like, they don't want to have kids, they want you to be on birth control, but then birth control can, sometimes it makes you gain weight. Sometimes it causes really bad migraines. Sometimes it causes mood swings. And it's like, they don't want those things. They don't want the weight gain, the mood swings, the migraines. Like, they don't want you complaining about this, that, and the third, or being nauseous, but they don't want no kids either. And it's like, well, if you don't want it, then maybe you should try it, because I'm putting my body through something that's not really natural in the scope of things. Like, I'm supposed to have this bleed, I'm supposed to do this, but it's
a natural process.
Exactly. And I'm interrupting that. And so it's like, you don't want this, but you want me to put this in my body. And then then we go back and forth with like, okay, well, what am I putting in my body? Is this okay? I mean, we have IUDs, we've had like, I had the Nexplanon in my arm for 3 years, and that was like, I went back and forth like, should I take this out? Should I not take this out? I mean, I saw weight gain tremendously from, like, I didn't gain weight when I was with my daughter, but the second I got that, everything shifted for me. Everything changed. And like, I've had people that have had it and they've had mood swings, like terrible mood swings. And that's rough for us. That does a lot for us. It weighs a lot on us. And then you have men that are like, they don't understand that. And all that they see is, well, you on birth control?
Well, you know what? I think what it is, though? I don't think there's been that much research on being done for male birth control. Like, all of a sudden now it's exploding now, which I think women are leading the way on the research, which is perfectly fine. Like, for me, like, you know what? If I don't want children, I will gladly go on, I would take the pill, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, listen, I don't want kids, so, I'm going to take this pill every damn day, because I'm like, you know what? But then I can't get mad at you because, on Wednesday you forgot the pill. That was the day, you know what I mean? Then it's on me, you know what I mean? Because it's hard for me to get upset with you when it's my responsibility, you know what I mean? So I don't mind the birth control, like, male taking. I really do think it should be something male, because just like when you look at the other side, like, I think it's pro-choice, where I'm for abortion. Is that pro? Yeah. So I'm like, listen, it's their body, like I can't tell you what to do with your body, you know what I mean? But meanwhile, I'm telling you to take this birth control pill because I don't want no kids. Yeah. You know what I mean? But then when you do get pregnant, first thing out my mouth is, I ain't want no kids. I'm not taking care of no baby. I'm gone. You know what I mean? And then now you got this kid. Now you having this dilemma. Well, like, dang, do I keep the baby? Do I not keep the baby? Then now you on a whole nother thing. But if little Bobby was taking his pills, you know what I mean? Like, take his pill. But
a lot of guys, like, in the comments and stuff, like, when people have shared it on Facebook, a lot of the guys, like, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. Women always have to complain. And it's like, you don't, like, I would love for you to experience what I'm experiencing.
Oh,
like,
listen. Saying I don't want that smoke. So you can have all that. Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I don't agree with male having birth control, because if I have to think about it and analyze the situation, if you do male birth control, right, and it's a sports drink, the population would dry out. Exactly, because with the male, when every time you ejaculate, you are releasing millions of sperms, and each day when, let's say it's in a woman and she's ovulating, right? So, okay, quick education. So, can fish survive without water?
Yes.
No, they
Well,
cannot.
see, I've been watching. Well, no, I be watching the thing. So I watched about evolution. So that there is that conversation about evolution where the one fish that did decide to go on, the mud skippers, are the one fish that did go on land, and then they turn into frogs.
All right, so fish cannot survive without water, right? So think of sperm is the fish and the semen is the water to protect it as it's exiting your body and going into the female. Okay. So sperm can last up to 5 days inside of a woman if woman is ovulating. So ovulation means your egg has left your ovary and it's sitting in your tube waiting for the sperm to fertilize it to make a baby. So when it's in the tube for that 24-hour time frame, your vagina, your cervix is releasing a mucus. It's very tacky. It's sticky. That's how you know that egg is there waiting, right? Okay. So the sperm is now, it have that another fluid to survive in. So it's going to survive. So every day it decreases. You go from millions to 100,000 to about thousands to hundreds. There's none. So if male gets birth control, I'm assuming it's going to be to decrease that sperm count for when you ejaculate. And I think that can be detrimental because will that be reversible? Can you get your sperm count back up after you take this pill for so many years to help decrease that sperm count? You know, because you need those millions of sperms because they're it's like they're in a race. They're trying to get to the egg first. Who can go first? Who can get there first? And then while they're taking that journey, by the days they're dying because they have no more energy, they're running out of fluid, I don't know, but they're dying, right? And it's that strong sperm that got to that. He was the fastest, the strongest. So if you start off over the years taking this pill, your sperm count is decreased, and then now you want kids, you can't. It's going to be very difficult. I'm not going to say you can't. It's going to be very difficult to start off with 100,000 sperms.
Well, I feel what you're saying, but at the same time, like doing the research now, like where you're starting to see, okay, these women have been on, you know, the IUDs and all that stuff, and now they're starting to have fibroids and they're starting to have all these different problems. You know what I mean? Like, so it's going to be one of those situations where it's all chance.
Pick your poison.
Yeah, you got to pick your poison.
Yeah.
Now, as a man, I feel like most men want to protect their woman. They want to, like, if it was up for me or my wife to get shot, I would prefer me to get shot. So that's how I take a look at it. I would prefer me to take the birth control pill because, like,
women go through a lot.
And I tell people all the time, like, I got a vasectomy done. You know what I mean? But when me and my wife talked about it, it was like, hey, I really don't want you. Like, when you look at the recovery times, the recovery times for my wife versus me was like triple the amount. And I'm like, well, damn, you're going to be out of work for like almost a month. You know what I mean? And I'm like, meanwhile, mine's an in and out procedure. Yeah. I put some ice on my balls. You know what I'm saying? I can play video games and I'm good. You know what I mean?
And you can reverse it if in the event y'all
No.
decide.
I told him to burn that shit. Burn that shit. Don't reverse nothing. But I think dudes like, oh, I don't want nobody touching my balls and like, you know, I don't want another man looking at my penis, looking at my dick. Like, yo, listen, but at the same time, I'm like, bro, if you can stop, because the first thing out your mouth is, I don't want to pay child support, I don't want to pay child support, but then you got like 8 kids because you don't want to wear a condom. You know what I mean? But now you got all these 8 kids. You know what I mean? And you could have went to the doctor and got it snipped, which it literally is an in and out procedure. That's it.
But there's rules to vasectomies.
Now, that is true because now my doctor, I tried to go at 24. I originally didn't want kids. You know what I mean? So I tried to go at 24. And at 24, he was like, well, you're not married. I can't. He literally said, legally, I cannot do your vasectomy. So he was like, you got to wait till you're 25. Unfortunately, my oldest son was born May, and my 25th birthday was in June. So literally, my son was born 1 month before I was legally able to get a vasectomy. So, but for me, you know what I mean? I would have rolled out. Now, I do think on the flip side, and I think there was a maturity level to it as well, because I was like, I don't want kids. I don't want to deal with that. Like, I want to be a jet setter and float around and do all that. But then also I realized too, do you know what type of conversation that is to kind of come? Like I do now, I kind of understood what he was saying. That's a difficult conversation because you meet the guy of your dreams and you meet the girl of your dreams, right? And she wants babies. Now you have to come to her and say, hey, I know you want kids. I got this procedure done when I was 24. It's not reversible. I can't have kids. You see what I'm saying? But she really, really wants kids and she doesn't want to adopt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a whole different type of conversation because you were being selfish when you were younger because, you know what I mean? So I understand it now. Yeah. Really, I don't. I just want to make it sound like I understand for podcast purposes. Because me, that's my decision at 24. That's my decision at 24. And if you can't love me and I can't give you a kid, I mean, we just get a dog or a fish or a turtle, you know what I'm saying? Or something like that. But honestly, when you look at it from that, like, I feel like you got to take it a step further because, listen, as much as STDs are out here, you should be able to be like, all right, bro, like, let me go just get this snip.
I mean, but do you think the solution is just, I don't want to say no birth control, but no birth control and focus on condoms or focus on
We definitely should focus on condoms. That's the bad thing about porn, to go back for a second. Yeah. Porn or just sex scenes on television, they show no consequences. Yeah. According to television, you can have sex, wake up, there are no consequences, which that's not true. When you see them on television, no one ever mentioned birth control. They never have a condom. Remember, do y'all watch Insecure?
Yeah.
Watching Scared.
So do you
There was a
remember
big
like
thing
the
about
second?
it,
I think
yeah.
it was second season. They got onto Issa Rae about not having any condoms in one of her sex scenes.
Mhm.
Well, in any of her sex scenes, and so she did say that she would try to
Add that. Yeah.
in, or I know she said she had a condom on the nightstand, but you
Mhm.
couldn't see it.
Mhm.
So she said she's gonna work better with that, which I think is great because. Think about a child watching television. They see no consequences, even though their kids are impressionable. It doesn't take much to influence them. So they really see no consequences of having sex, which that's not true. Especially the earlier you start to having sex, the more likely you are to having an STD.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like, STDs is a big stigma, right? So it's kind of like being a person of this world. You're going to catch a cold or a flu. You're just not going to avoid catching a cold or a flu unless you work at home and live in a bubble, and you don't have any children. But at some point, you're going to come in contact with the flu virus or the cold virus. And, you get over it. But you don't beat yourself up because you got the cold, right? That's still a disease.
Yeah.
It's a short disease. It's an illness. It's still short. Same thing with sex. Having an STD does not mean you have multiple sex partners because the most common symptom for an STD is no symptom at all. So yes, we've been talked about burning and itching and smelly smells and discharge, but come on, let's put our thinkers on. No one is having sex under those conditions. No one. That's why they are so easily passed along because a lot of us are what we call asymptomatic, meaning no symptoms. So when you have an STD, it may take your body a while to let you know that there's an STD present. So in that period where your body is not telling you, you're having sex unprotected and you're spreading the disease along. Unknowingly, who is having sex when they smell like fish? Nobody is really doing that. Who's having sex when their penis is on fire? Nobody is doing that because it's going to be uncomfortable, I can imagine. You're not going to want to. It's going to be uncomfortable.
Let me tell you something. Locker room Shirley. Now I know she was in there.
Locker room Shirley.
So we had a girl. I think her name was Shirley, but in the locker room, she ain't cuff, and everybody knew. But when you were in high school, when you were in high school, like if that's how you can get your rocks off, though, you're gonna go try. You don't care if it smells like.
You do have those few.
You also have people that never get tested ever. Like they
think.
For me, every time I go into my yearly woman checkup, I'm always getting tested. If I'm getting blood drawn for something else, and they're like, and I'm like, are you guys testing for this? Can you go ahead and test for that? Even if I know that I haven't been with anyone, within 6 months or something, I always get tested because I'm just like, I just want to get tested. But some people are terrified.
Well,
and I mean, the first time I was scared. I was like,
so was I. Terrified.
And now I'm like, please, everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Just like for, like you said, with your annual, like for our annual, we get tested for HPV and chlamydia and gonorrhea during our swabs. Men, I'm not a man, so y'all don't get tested for HPV. Y'all have to ask.
No,
y'all get tested.
So if you
now
get tested,
it's a new thing.
I know my doctor.
Not for HIV, HPV.
HPV.
Wow.
Because HPV is so common in African American.
The number one, it's the most common STD of all STDs. Like,
I know my doctor said because it was most common in African Americans.
Everything
so it was like
everything bad common in us.
Yeah. So they tested now for HPV, but I think it's that they test HPV.
But how do they test
your
HPV in men? Because I was
your
told
analysis?
that they didn't that there was no test for men.
It's a
Oh, that's probably uncomfortable.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, I'd rather. But to your point though, a lot of people that don't get tested, when they're married, they're like, oh, I don't have to get tested anymore because I'm married. No, because you never know if your partner.
That's common in black people.
Yeah,
Black
like,
women
oh, I'm like, no, like and then that was funny too, because I've been married for 3 years. So when I went in for my annual 3 years ago, they was like, oh well, you don't necessarily have to get that done
because you're married.
And I was like,
that's poor education.
Nah, player, because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a fresh marriage, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So, and then they ended up, and so now that was a running joke with shout out Dr. Tran, but that was a running joke with my doctor, because she was like, she's like, you're the first person that came in there. So then she was like, but now they test it regularly. And I'm like, all right, cool. But yeah, you got to get tested.
Yeah.
And
you do. There are over 100 strands of viruses that cause HPV. Some of those strands will cause HPV to go away on its own. Some will cause genital warts, and some will
Shoot.
cause cervical cancer.
Hell, the ones
So-
now they super viruses. So no matter what you do, they don't.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a virus. There's no cure for viruses. Just like the common cold and the flu, there's no cure for the cold or flu. You take medicine to stop the runny nose, the scratchy throat, the headache, but there's nothing on the shelf that you can take to get rid of the cold or the flu. You have to just let it run its course. It's the same concept with. Well, not the same concept, but a lot of STDs that are common, like HPV is the number one most common, the common STD. And then you have herpes. Those STDs are viruses. You cannot get rid of them. You just take medicine to suppress the symptoms of it. Like for herpes, the outbreaks, you take medicine to lessen how many times you outbreak. People are not walking around with herpes, scratching and itching. That's not how it works, but that's just the stigma about it.
Well, for herpes, so like if you were someone that has herpes, you obviously have to tell your partner before you
should always tell your partner what you have that they can get through sex. That's just what I believe. I feel like do never take away a person's right to choose, and I know that can be a difficult conversation.
And hell, half the time,
but it's
we don't even care. They be like, hey, whatever, girl, you a 10. Come here, girl.
Yeah, like, just you tell that person.
Now, if you an 8 or below, then we gonna think about it.
You gonna think about it.
And if you no, 8s might be. If you a 7, then I gotta think about it, because I'm like, ooh, she ain't nobody.
Oh my God, you're horrible. Yeah, but you should definitely have that conversation and talk to the person. But so many people. So HPV is the number one. I keep saying number one, like it's like.
I mean, but
number one.
But a lot of people don't know.
It is the most common, and then herpes is right behind it. I know my numbers are not going to be accurate to the T, but with the cold sores, herpes simplex 1. 4 out of 10 Americans have that. And then with genital herpes, about 6 out of 10 Americans have that. It's very common. But again, just like the cold sore.
That's why I feel sorry for you single people. It don't even matter.
It doesn't. People not walking around with a cold sore every day of the year, right? You see it probably once or twice a year. It's the same concept with genital herpes. People are not outbreaking every day. And leave Usher alone if he has herpes, okay? He is not itching and scratching every day of his life. That's just not how it works.
He just got the burpiderps.
What is that?
the bump. He got the burpiderps on the face. Like, oh.
I think he has genital herpes.
Wow.
I think he got the burpiderps, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. Well, he's fine.
Allegedly.
He's not going to die. It's a skin disease. It's more so of like a skin disease. And it's when if you come into contact with it, don't touch. That's a great thing to teach your kids as well. People are into busting pimples and stuff. Teach your kids to stay away from people bumps, because even though it's genital herpes, it can be anywhere on the body. Wherever that skin make contact, that's where it can be. But of course it's common on the genitals where you're having sex. But
herpes is sexually transmitted, or can you?
It's primarily sexually transmitted. But again, think about if a person is having an outbreak and they may not know it, they may not feel it, and they get fingered. Now it can be transmitted on their fingers, or you then go from different spots that you touch. It's a skin disease, so just make sure you tell your kids don't bust people bumps. Leave people bumps alone.
Don't touch nothing.
And going back to sex and kids, can you look down there? Are you comfortable looking down there, looking at someone's vagina or penis? If not, okay, well maybe sex isn't for you. Maybe you're not ready to have sex. So that's another one. Instead of telling a child don't have sex, just give them some eye openers. Well, are you comfortable with looking at someone's vagina or penis? Well, I gotta look. Just want to make sure there's no bumps down there. Because if it's a bump, that may be a hepatic bump. It can be a hair bump, but it's definitely not a pimple. You don't get pimples down there, So look before you engage in sex.
Look before you fuck.
So they might be uncomfortable. I know my kids get uncomfortable. Like, oh my God, look, why am I? Okay, relax, and you're just not ready. Then that's fine.
So then what you're saying is I do need to have sex with the lights on, so that way I can look.
Yeah, like look, and it can be sexy. You don't have to be awkward. Like, hey, let me give you a
it's gonna be very awkward if we got the lights on and I look and I see sexy. You got something. I'm about to be like, hello.
Oh,
I don't like get out of that.
So that's when we need to just figure out ways. That's probably the next episode, like how to avoid exit, how to get out of sexual situations.
Yeah, that's true. But testing is definitely important. Testing is important.
Just roll off the road.
Yeah.
I think.
But I think it's easier in a relationship versus a situationship. That's an easier conversation. If it's a situationship, well, first let's define the two.
You don't know what a situationship is.
What's a situationship?
Listen, when y'all follow us on our podcast, you're going to realize I didn't know there was a difference between dating and talking. So now y'all talking about situationships.
Yeah,
so like
what a lot of people have now. They have where they're like, oh, we're not in a committed relationship. We're in a situationship, meaning that, like, okay, well, what are you? Well, we're just having sex, and occasionally if I want to go out to eat with this person, if I want to go to the movies with this person, but at the end of the day, like, I don't see this person in a relationship. Like, we're not in a relationship. Maybe it's in that dating phase. That's kind of how I've seen situationships. Yeah.
I just had a thought. You know, we just talked about, well, we're discussing situationships and relationships, right? You know what the problem is? I'm black, right? So I'm going to speak from the black experience. There's a lack of knowledge or the lack of acknowledgement that there are numerous types of relationships. We only focus on monogamy, and anything outside of monogamy, we give it a side eye. Like, what? There is polygamy, which people confuse polygamy and polyamory. Polygamy is for the male's satisfaction. So the male will have this relationship with multiple women.
Yeah.
And those women cannot be with each other or other people. Their purpose is to sexually please that man or please that man, right? With polyamory, there's a relationship with more than two people. So usually it's three.
Okay.
And from the outside looking in, it does appear that the man is getting all the satisfaction, but everyone has sex with each other. So if it's a man and two women, the two women can have sex without the man. The man can have sex with both of the women or just one at different times. And they have a relationship. Their income comes in, they can have kids with each other. You know, it's a different way of living, but we don't talk about that in the black community. Then of course you're open. You know, Monique and her, I guess her last husband, they're open.
They're an open relationship.
That was Monique's idea. It wasn't the man's idea, because she know, hey, I'm going to cheat on you. So I did this like 3 times already. I know what I'm going to do. Let's just be open. And even with D-Ray, I probably don't remember, but he had the reality show with Michael Blackson and stuff.
I remember that.
And he had the 2 girlfriends. Everyone went crazy, like, oh my God, they must be insecure. Why would they settle for that? That doesn't mean they're insecure. That's what they want to do. And then you have swingers. There's so many different types of relationships that I don't think we are aware of. So we can't even articulate, but we just know, I don't want to be monogamous.
But even if we are aware of it, I feel like there's so many people that it's that whole mentality of like, the way that we grow up, it's being like, that's wrong. It's wrong to have an open relationship. It's wrong to be swingers. It's wrong to be that way morally. But I mean,
it's not. It's whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do.
So listen, we talked about a lot.
Yeah, we did.
I think it's a really good episode. So, why don't you tell the people? We'll throw some up on Patreon so you guys get some more conversations with us, and then we'll probably pull you on maybe the radio. Okay. And have you on some of the chats, because I think that'll be pretty dope too.
Definitely.
But if they want to tell the people where they could find you at and all that good stuff.
You can't find me anywhere. But you cannot find me anywhere. But hopefully I'll be back.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely have you back. So she's a mystery. If you like mysteries, let us know. Maybe her people can contact your people. Contact our people. That's how that'll work.
Yeah. I have people. Yes, I do. I do got people because they're the ones that let me know that you can't take things from IKEA. I do got people. Well, listen, this has been another great episode of Black Spark Cafe.
Yes.
I had so much fun.
This is 4.
5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. But it's been your boy, Lay Scoop. Check us out on all our social media. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Apple, Google Play, iHeartRadio. I'm going to keep doing that.
Until I listen to it? Jeez.
iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, EB Radio.
We're on it all. We're on it all.
Yeah.
We're like the FBI man in your phone.
That's
we'll
true.
pop up on
Oh,
an
your
ad
brother.
later. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll pop up on an ad later. You'll be
Yeah.
like, dang, Black Spark. I never
But you know
heard
what?
of
We
it.
might have to do something with her for one of the adult field trips.
Yeah,
We'll figure something out.
definitely.
And then we'll have to do something with our last guest, too, for adult
Mhm.
field trips. So
Definitely.
maybe take them to, like, we got to take them. We got to use her to take them to, like, a sex
A
Maybe
sex
the other one
store?
to do-
store.
Maybe
Ooh,
the
that'd
Yeah,
be good.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the last guest,
to do like a therapy, like a healing.
I was going to say take them to church.
Oh my god.
Anyway, thank y'all for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed. If you haven't seen our other previous episodes, go back, watch,
Right now.
listen. I'm sure you're not doing anything, and then rewatch.
They probably
and
watching
share
porn.
this.
They probably watching
So,
porn right now.
Probably after that.
Well, I'm JD, and I hope you learned from me.
Ooh,
Oh, that kind of
look at that.
like.
Oh.
I'm going to chop that up
Yeah.
so it's All right, man. We out.